But we have picked this little town in the centre of Ireland, and it's a small village with lots of nice pubs. And the oldest pub in Europe is actually in that town.
You right now convince me.
Welcome to Amiga Ireland. I'm Irla.
I'm Rob.
I'm Luke.
The Warp 1260 is a hot topic at the moment, and for good reason. It's an expansion that provides acceleration, 16-bit sound, Wi-Fi, real-time graphics, USB, and more. It's been very topical online. To talk to us about where the project is at now and what the future holds, we've got the developers with us.
I'm Sellen.
Hi, I'm Cizar.
Okay, so guys, could you tell us a few words about yourself? How long have you known each other?
We are friends since we were 15, in the school, And I have an Amiga 1200. Szymon had Amiga 500, and we together wanted to, start controlling some things, lighting and home automation. I was better in software, and Szymon was better in hardware. And this was, good interchange of knowledge, So
Yeah.
From that time, we was always in contact. In the meantime, we started the company. Unfortunately, not for the Amiga hardware, but for the industrial automation. But since this time, there were many projects which we completed ourselves. So yeah, we are friends since many years,
Nice to hear that.
Very good. And you mentioned the industrial aspect there. So your background is in CNC equipment. But how did the Amiga get involved there? Was that there already, or is it sort of just an overlap of hobbies?
When we are young, Amiga was our main computer. For me and for Szymon too.
But the card is more expensive for us.
And this is somewhat of coincidence, that later we was forced to focus on the industrial electronics. When we started the business, serious business, there was no place for Amiga hardware anymore. This was 1999 or 2000 year or something like that, So unfortunately, Amiga was not a good place to start business anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we are started CNC industrial automation business, but we are already, we had Amiga in the blood,
Mm-hmm.
And for many years, we not forgotten Amiga, but we don't have enough time to even think about the Amiga. And many years later, Szymon said that maybe do something for this platform, And he was trying to buy a turbo for the Amiga. He had a 1200 mainboard and trying to buy Blizzard PPC. He bought it, he paid for it, and then the package never arrived.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, yes. That was a fake, and I said, we will make a Amiga turbo.
Yes, it's the start world card.
This was the start of the world card development,
So it was actually the scam that you had made you to create the warp card. What a coincidence.
We was so angry.
Yeah, I would be as well.
There was police involvement in that. Adele, they do nothing.
Yeah.
All the case was forgotten, and we decided we do it. But at the beginning, the idea was we do it only for us, There was no plans to do this for all,
For the community.
Mm-hmm.
You considered Amiga and that the market wasn't so good back in the late 90s, so you've kind of had Amiga in the back of your mind for a long time.
These all years, I and Szymon too, we was thinking about many times, but when you own business, there's really no time for that, for hobby, for anything like that, and you have to do what you have to do,
It's funny that you mentioned time, because I've been reading on your Warp website that you had the idea in April 2018 originally to make a card like this. Now it's 2020 and you have cards for the Amiga 500, the Amiga 1200 and the Amiga 4000. How did you do it all so quickly?
We don't have card for Amiga 4000. It is in development. Prototype is all done, almost ready, because Szymon has finished schematics and PCB board. But we are waiting for actual PCBs to arrive, So we don't have a 4000 version yet.
But it's in the making, yeah.
But prototype and PCB and schematic.
Schematics is ready, PCB is ready, so...
At this moment.
Yeah, at this moment. So we're waiting for, physical PCB. We have a project sent and everything is okay, but we are waiting for a physical PCB. But about A500 and A1200, you know what? I don't really know how we make it. You said this is fast. From our perspective, it was a long time ago,
Yeah, but for 1 week.
Some time ago, we look at the pictures from the Amiga and these prototypes, and we were surprised because we thought that was 1 year more ago, And later, where we saw the pictures, it's became that's so far, So for us, there was, I don't know how to say, but this was more time.
Normal speed.
But this was a crazy time, because this was a time that literally every hour of our life, every day, we spent to make these projects, This was really hard. And, ask my wife. It was ended almost in divorce,
Oh my.
I'm not joking now, This is really hard, and where we was developing all the hardware and the software, this was a really, really crazy time. And I don't know, maybe this is the answer how you claim this was quickly. In my time, this was not quickly at all.
Okay, yeah, because I think there's like a perception for consumers that things take a long time. Maybe between announcements and release. It's kind of normal to wait a long time. So when I went to your website, I expected at most one item to be done in 2 years. Not all of this. To me, it stands out. I don't know about you two guys, Rob and Luke. I mean, does that stand out to you as well?
I think.
Look,
Yeah, go on, Rob.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I've got hardware projects that I still haven't finished from 10 years ago. So,
yeah, I think from my perspective as well, and from my experience, I've been back with Amiga from 2006. That was your projects, guys. It's been going on very, very quickly. Very quickly, 2 years, very advanced projects. So that's been very quick, really.
At the beginning, we was, I think we was too ambitious, because this board has a lot of peripherals that already need to be supported by the device drivers and something like that. And also, there were very hardware
issues, problems.
Yeah. And a lot of surprises, Because when we started prototype with DDR3 RAM memory, we was really sad, because when you come back to the 90s and take some Blizzard boards, and then memory had timings something like 50 nanoseconds or something like that. First tests of prototypes with DDR3 memory were something like 400 nanoseconds.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the DDR3 is very fast memory, but the time when you first request something from that memory and you actually get this data, it's something right about 40 nanoseconds. It's really terrible. And we was, this was a very sad moment. But then was many unslept nights. And we was developed L2 cache to handle this. But in the other way, we also put in this card RTG graphics. And for the graphics, this memory is really shining, because when you imagine graphics, it's almost every time you reading sequentially data from the memory, and then you have some transfers like something like 1.3, 1.4 gigabytes per second. So it's really, really nice.
Well, talking about your all the peripherals that are on the board, can you go through how you actually put these features on the board? Like how did you actually make it all fit on the board on what is basically the same size as any other accelerator?
Since these all years, technology is very advanced, So in the same board size, like for example, Blizzard or any other card from the era, we have advantage because we can take advantage of the current technology. Mm-hmm. So when we was thinking about the project, we was thinking about how much of peripherals we can fit in this size, And there was, of course, many ideas, but we was thinking about what are the most annoying things for the Amiga user, classic Amiga users today. And this was lack of fast IDE, fast Ethernet connection, 16-bit audio, RTG graphics,
USB for pen drive or keyboard.
Modern connectivity for USB keyboard, USB mouse, and something like that.
Hit devices.
Yeah, and we was looking to many devices on the market, and we decided that most of them we can integrate in the one device, and this was the idea.
And so that one device that's the ARM chip that is on the Warp board, is that right?
Yeah, but the ARM is not everything. This ARM is not a big ARM CPU. This is a microcontroller. So this is only help chip to handle some tasks and nothing else.
I see. So does that mean that all the peripherals like the RTG and the USB and the sound they have their own control chips?
No, some peripherals are implemented in FPGA and some of them are implemented in the ARM MCU, and FPGA is the glue logic which connect them with the Amiga OS.
I see.
Right, let's move on to the next question. Guys, before you started working on Warp project, had you been experimenting with any other cards?
Yes, Terrible Fire.
Oh, okay.
At the first attempt to do anything after these all years when we not involved in Amiga, we tried Terrible Fire 530 card, but soon it was too simple because this was a project 2-layer PCB, and we was trying to get not 50 but 60 megahertz and
more RAM.
So you already had the idea to upgrade it, modernize it, yes?
This was, because we was trying to do for the Amiga, but we had no experience enough to do this. So we was trying to Terrible Fire 530 to, make some measurements and something like that. but that was obvious that PCB project of the Terrible Fire was not enough to achieve
your goal.
Yeah.
Your idea. So, in a way, Terrible Fire project inspired you to move on.
Yes.
That's really good. That's very nice to hear.
We really, respect Terrible Fire. This is a really great guy.
And thank you.
And thanks for him also. Because I know he loves Amiga very much, and I know he put a really great amount of work to his project,
When you did start working on your own card, was it the 500 that came first or for the 1200?
It was first 500. Because we started from a Terrible Fire for the A500. So we was moving on, and we make own prototype of 68030 card for the Amiga 500. And if I remember, up to 68040, every prototype was made for a 500. And later, when we will start the first time play with 68060, the first prototype was made for the A1200.
Now, this is the difficult question that everyone's asking at the moment. Where are the 68060 CPUs going to come from?
We don't know.
We don't know,
Many people have a processor in home.
Sometimes surprised that some people write to us, email or something. They saying, okay, I have, 2 or 10 processor in my drawer, and I'd like to buy, and so on. This is a really tough questions, and I don't know. And this is one of the main reasons we don't sell these boards with the CPUs from ourselves, The customers must buy this CPU and send it to us, and then we mount it on the board and send to them. We can't take a risk. There is a lot of fake on the net, and we just can't take the risk for
Absolutely.
So we don't have a nice answer for these questions. I know this is hard,
but it seems that most of the demand is for the the Rev 6 68060, but the board will work with the older revisions just at a slower speed. That's correct.
Yeah. It will work.
So it's still an option.
One time when you play with revision 6 on the 100 megahertz, it's really sad to go down,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Later, firstly, we haven't plans to do that, but now when we see what is happening in the market with the 060s, we have plans to make this version of Warp for the 68040. I know this is not so fast CPU as 060, but it's really far more easier to get.
And therefore cheaper.
Yeah, that was my next question actually. So, are there versions planned for 040 CPU, or for example PPC or ARM versions of Warp card?
As we said before, yes, for 68040, of course, yes, there are planned versions for it. There is no easy way to put a 68040 in current cards, because current cards work mainly on 3.3 volts and 68040 is 5 volts, so it requires some additional logic to translate these voltages. We also think about PPC, but there is a lot of, I don't know, hardware. Put the hardware in board is relatively easily, but okay, this is not for today. We think about it, but this is, and we must think about it. There's a lot of unanswered questions to make it really possible.
Okay.
We were talking about, I think, PPC, and you said that it's a thing of the future, and you have to think about it, like for some time. whether it is going to be easy or difficult, because you said that the hardware, from the hardware perspective, it's very easy to actually implement PPC.
Not maybe very, very easy, but relatively easy.
Easy, yeah.
Doable.
Comparing to software side, yeah.
Any card with PPC maybe it's not so hard, but to make it compatible with already existing software could be quite difficult. And okay, this is topic for another day,
And you think the ARM version would be very similar, for example?
I don't know what you really mean about ARM version, because current board, even if it had ARM CPU on board, this CPU is not meant for utilize for all the developers. It's a part of the chipset,
I was thinking maybe about some sort of like a translator, so like ARM would be the heart, and it could translate the everything into a Motorola.
Something about emulator for Motorola.
Yeah, something like that.
This is not possible. This is not possible with this board, because this ARM, which is on the world board, has very little resources, very little of RAM, and it is not directly connected to the main bus, like, for example, 6860. So there is no way to write own application with ability to take advantage of all the bus, all the chipset of the Amiga. This is one of the specialized chips, like, I don't know, Blitter or something like that. And for now, it is only for hours, connectivity and acceleration of some tasks, but nothing beyond that.
Only MP3 decoder,
MP3 decoding, JPEG decoding, tasks like that, but not to write own applications and take, control over the system. If we would think about it, that we have to put there completely different chip. This is not the chip. This is designed to.
You're obviously very busy with the work you have and supporting the hardware you have, and trying to source 060 chips for other people is just another job really that you can't really do. And I'm wondering, has anyone come offered to you to help in that way, to say, well, I can start maybe providing the correct chips for people? Has anybody kind of offered to collaborate with you in that way?
We also talked about that, and also had some offers from community, but this is a little bit too early, because the API of our hardware side is changing. This is quite early stage of development, so maybe yes, but at least now we must handle it and prepare some API. We was already released some early versions of CS Word library. Yeah, maybe later, but now we have to make it ready for it.
Yeah, you have enough to do for now.
You've got a lot to do, yeah, that's right.
I know.
Fair enough. And I have one more question just about the software side of things. I'm just curious, what languages are you using to code in, and how many lines of code do you think that have been written so far?
About the first questions is mainly C language, because it's the most universal language as far as I know. About the questions, how many lines? This is a strange question, because sometimes you write 1,000 or even 2,000 lines of code in a day, and sometimes you spend a month or even more to write 5 lines of the code. So I don't know. I didn't count how many lines of code is already. Especially as not only C language, but many of the functionality of this board is implemented in the hardware. So it is a completely different language, and this is VHDL. I don't know. I really don't know how many lives. A lot,
Lots.
Loads. Definitely loads.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were saying there before about the ARM chip doing some specialist decoding of MP3s and JPEGs and the likes.
It also acts as a bridge,
Yeah, sort of as a control chip almost for the card. But is there, or will there be an SDK so that people could develop additional decoders for that? Or is that something you've thought about?
This time, I think it's not even possible because this is not some CPU like Raspberry Pi 4, which have Linux loaded, and this is a really simple microcontroller. We have no runtime to easily start user applications. It has a precompiled real-time.
I see. Okay. So essentially, the decoders are in firmware.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe later we think about it, but at this time it's not most important for us. We really want to make ready device drivers from the Amiga OS side, make BSD socket library, make SD card device, make IDE, CS4 IDE device, DMA support, and then we think about to make some SDK, but with this CPU, I think this is really hard. I think we will be talking about some, next version card or something like that.
Ah, cool.
Right. We've been talking about Warp 1260 with 060 processors, with 040 processors. Those cards are high-end cards or like medium-end cards. What about low-end cards? How about a version of Warp with a 030 processor? It would be absolutely like a perfect card, for example, for WHD load users. Have you thought of that, guys, as well?
Of course. And the first prototypes was on the 68030. Of course, we are thinking about 68030, but again, in case of 68030, we really think about it as something like for us or for really close friends or something like that, because this is not too many projects for our times, But we have prototypes, and I have in my drawer right now. This is a shame that we don't have a video right now, but the really first prototypes right after these tries with Terrible Fire was on the 68030. Yeah.
I've been in contact with a lot of people. They say that Warp 1260 is a brilliant card. It's an absolutely state-of-the-art card, actually. But it's, for example, very hard for them to get 060. So they would be, for example, very happy to just get, for example, like a basic 030 card just for WHD load.
Yeah, we was thinking about it because 68030 has additional advantages because it's really compatible with
very compatible.
So it is it would be nice to have a 68030 card with RTG, 16-bit audio, and Ether and Wi-Fi and every other peripherals which get on the Warp card. So. Yeah, this is an open question, but at this moment we don't have time. Really
I can imagine.
For it, and thinking only about as some special edition for really couple of people, but maniacs. We will see. I don't know. We are so tired,
Yeah, I can imagine that.
And just a moment, I prototype Warp for Amiga CD-TV.
Really?
CD-TV because Simon bought Amiga CD-TV because he always loved this Amiga.
It was.
Of course, there are some additional problems because Amiga CD-TV has a chip which is a bus master on the main bus of CPU. so we can't easily connect a Warp 560 to it.
But we do it.
You'll do it. You'll do it. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That'll be an incredible
that
machine.
would be absolutely incredible machine, definitely. You know, a set-top box from the 90s, from the early 90s.
Yeah.
Well, actually, just related to that, I was wondering, had you ever thought of a standalone device, or, is that even technically possible or feasible?
In theory, it is possible, but, there was a question we was asking ourselves many times, what we want to achieve. When we planned a warp card, there was two places, where we could go. One place was a classic Amiga and maintain as much as possible classic Amiga. Another way was to do as much as possible. And when you go to the way to do as much as possible, then you realize that the most sane answer is get Raspberry Pi 4, take an AROS project, port it to Raspberry Pi 4. You have very fast graphics, very fast CPU, everything you want, but you don't have a soul of the Amiga.
Yes, you're losing soul.
Then we decided to not, override original Amiga chipset or anything like that. We want to make a turbo board, like, in the 90s. Nothing about that. But then you had to buy turbo board, RTG graphics, separate 16-bit audio board, and maybe more modern days USB control and also stuff. This card integrates all, but not integrates in original Amiga hardware. It is extension, but not overriding what we all remember and you know what I'm meaning to say.
It complements the original machine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we don't have plans to make a standalone Amiga because from our perspective, it's not makes a lot of sense.
It sounds like you want to go forwards and not go back re-implementing something that already exists.
This is an open question because maybe, just maybe, when situation on the markets with 68060 would be really hard for maybe we start 40 products, maybe we implement original 060 in the FPGA, but this is too early to talk about.
I know you kind of like this is filling your plans and all that, but have you thought about other hardware that so other than accelerator boards or turbo boards? Have you thought about any other kind of peripherals that you want to develop?
In the pipeline, we have Scandaler for CS graphics and AGA. It has two modes of operations, so it can be an expansion for the worldboard or it can work as standalone. But for now, this is the only peripheral for the Amiga which we think about because we don't have time to think about anything more right now.
Right, guys, you've already mentioned FPGA and other things. So, do you think that maybe in the future there will be a FPGA version of Warp, just something similar to, for example, Vampire 1200?
Of course, it is possible, but the question is if it makes sense, Now on the Warp board we have physical 060 and we have RTG graphics and other peripherals on board. So if we make CPU like 060 on the FPGA and implement AGA, so all Amiga will be on the FPGA. The problem is when you love Amiga and when you remember the times in the 1990s and these years, when you today turn on real A1200 or A500. You know, I have something called goose on the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember right in the English right word. But I hope you know what I'm talking about.
You mean goosebumps? Yeah.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Exactly.
That's the expression.
Okay.
Yeah. Goosebumps when you
Yes.
turn on your Amiga.
Yeah. But when I turn on FSUIA emulator or emulator on Raspberry Pi, or sorry guys about that, but Vampire Standalone, I don't have. Sorry, but I don't have.
No, that's absolutely fine. It's all a matter of personal preference, and yeah.
This is a nice piece of hardware, and from the technical point of view, really take a good part, you know, because they put a lot of work to make this 68080 CPU in the FPGA and all the specialized chipset. I'm sorry, but I don't feel this is...
It doesn't work for you. That's it.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
doesn't work for you. You've got that emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be physical case and keyboard and
We love hardware, you know, because if some people love the old games and old software, okay, you can run this old software, old games on the Raspberry Pi or FSUI on or WinUI or something like that. This really doesn't matter, but we love hardware.
Fair enough. Yeah.
The board is also some, you know, contribution to that. We love hardware. This is the reason that we like to have a real old 68 or 60 CPU on this board.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
You mentioned the scan doubler there a while back, and just out of personal curiosity, my own scan doubler is giving me trouble at the moment. I'm just curious, when your scan doubler becomes available, will it work independently of the warp board as well, or do they need to be together?
Yes, it will work independently of the warp board, and as I said before, it will have 2 modes of operations. It would work as a standalone card, as an expansion for the warp board.
Okay, that's fantastic. I would be one of your customers.
Same as me, to be honest. Right. Szymon, can you tell us, for example, what was your favorite game back in the day?
my favorite is the Dune 2. Maybe UFO is
Very good one. Yes.
It's one of the best game for me on the Amiga, but
Which one is that?
UFO.
UFO.
Oh, yes, yeah. I haven't played that yet.
What?
You haven't played UFO? Oh, really?
I know.
Like ever?
Ever. I haven't even loaded it.
Have you played Laser Squad
Oh yeah,
then?
get on it.
Have you played Laser
No, I
Squad?
haven't.
You haven't played
I
Laser
haven't
Squad?
played Laser Squad,
It's like a
no.
predecessor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very good one as well. Right, Szymon,
I'm looking forward
UFO. What about you? Like, did you enjoy Lotus, for example?
yes, but I use Amiga not only for a game. First, my PCB project, I work on Amiga and program or Nevio program and LogicWorks electronic simulation program. We work on Amiga game. Okay, but
You wanted to design something, yeah?
yeah, we start electronic hardware and controller home automation on the Amiga.
Wow.
Not game. Yes, is very potrzebne. Jak jest potrzebne?
Needed.
I'm wondering why it's so hard, you know, when we was in the Amiga 34 in German, we were talking in English all the day, and this was quite easy, you know. But when we talking through Discord, I don't know why it is harder, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest maybe there was beer at Amiga 34.
Maybe something
Might be a
something
great bonus when I'm drunk.
stronger.
Amiga 36 or something like that.
Yeah, I can speak
Yeah.
almost fluent Russian when I drink.
I know.
Погоди, мы пьем.
When I was 20, I was living in Germany about 6 months.
Mhm.
And when I drink some beer and talk with the Germans, they thought that I am a German, you know? I had perfect accent. I had to say I'm from Poland, and they was surprised that I am not a German.
Wow.
So after a beer, this makes you really multi-language.
Guys, you just have to come to Amiga Ireland meeting in January. That is just absolutely...
In January
A must.
2021?
Yes, that's right.
2021, yeah, it'd be great to see you there.
It'd be
I
absolutely
hope,
great
I
to see
hope to
you.
be there. This is possible, I think.
Now, there you go.
Cool.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Well, you can have a pint then.
Or even two.
Yeah.
There is a direct flight from almost any airport to Dublin, and then from Dublin you just take the coach, and from coach just go to Athlone. It's just like an hour and a half of driving by coach.
Okay, it's no problem.
Yeah. So
And maybe after a few beers, we'll be able to speak Polish.
we'll try.
Yeah. Polish is not so simple, you know, but okay, we'll try.
It would be really, really great to have you there, guys. Absolutely.
When we first time go to the Amiga 34 and we don't have idea what these events look like
And how many people?
and how many people were there, and okay, how many places you need? Okay, so one table, and then we arrived. We had 4 computers and posters and really lot t-shirts and a lot of stuff, and this was really hard to actually take in this place, you know.
Yeah, just like I said, there are people from all over the world. There are people from Australia, there are people from New Zealand, from States coming to Ireland, Germans, Italians, Spaniards, Swedish. There's like a huge Polish community in Ireland, so there are loads of guys, like living over there in Ireland who'd love to meet you and to talk to you. Absolutely.
I love the Amiga community because of that, because also
It's a brilliant event. You'll meet a lot of new people, and so I'm sure you'll enjoy it a lot. The atmosphere is absolutely brilliant.
Also on Amiga 34, we was really surprised how many people was there and from all over the world. We was really surprised also about the age of the people, because we thought that the most of the people would be something like us, about 30, 40 years old, and we were surprised because there was many really young people, something about 20 years old, even younger, and really involved in the Amiga development, in the software, hardware. This is crazy, and this was a really great experience to be there, and I think we will be on the event
in the island.
Mm-hmm.
So if you enjoyed, if you enjoyed Amiga 34, you love Amiga Ireland, because it's just absolutely brilliant down there.
And also, I always wanted to see Ireland.
Że kocham cię jak Irlandię.
Yeah. I never been there, and I really want to see Ireland, because I know it is beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
But we have picked this little town in the centre of Ireland, and this place is very nice. It represents the country well. As a small village with lots of nice pubs, and the oldest pub in Europe is actually in that town.
You right now convince me.
You'll see the pictures, you'll see the videos, you will really enjoy it. I can assure you.
I hope if we have the time, and I hope to manage to have this time. I hope to be there.
Book your holidays and we'll meet there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Sure. Exactly.
Right, guys. So let's go back to our interview then. So what do you think about other cards? What do you think about Terrible Fire card or ACA from individual computers? We've heard your opinion about Vampire, but I'm curious about those two, the Terrible Fire and 1260 and the ACA from individual computers.
In my opinion, every person who in these times make a hardware and any development for this platform is really valuable, So, as I said before, we were started from Terrible Fire platform on the Fire30, and this was a really, really good start point for us. So, we have a lot of respect for Steven. We have really a lot of respect for him, and we also met on Amiga 34. We met Jens from Individual.
Yeah.
We have a good talk with him, and we also respect him very much. And as about a Vampire, we also have nice photos with Apollo team from the Amiga 54, and also we have also a really, really great respect for the work that they have done. This is there is some discussion about some compatibility and some stuff like that, but these people have done a really great amount of job to implement all chipset and the CPU in the FPGA. This is not easy work. So we respect everyone. We don't know compete,
who create cards.
This is not our business model. Every day we make other hardware. Amiga is not only an adventure for us.
That's a nice position to be in.
So we don't look at them as the competition, as the enemy or something like that. We really respect these people because, especially in these days, after many years active development for this platform, if anyone do that in these days, it is somewhat crazy, and I think this is a good craziness, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like them, of course. We like them. We want to talk with them, and I hope to see more people involved in making hardware for this platform. Also, we have plans, not today, because today we want to make some more development and make this our war project ready, but in some day, I don't know, maybe after 2-3 years, we have plans to open source all the project to community. So
wow.
Yeah, I think everybody who makes something for the Amiga today is, nice guy.
I agree.
Okay, we're nearly at the end. But was there anything else you wanted to mention regarding the warp boards that we missed?
We want to sorry all the guys who writing to us right now through the Amiga Warp EU website, because we are not ready yet to handle this all requests and answers and questions. Sorry about that, guys. We don't ignore you. we have all your emails in our inbox. We are preparing some frequently asked questions on the website, and every detail. We are also preparing some, automated order.
Pre-order.
Yeah, automated pre-order, automated order handling system on our website. So right now I have 150 or something about emails not answered yet. So guys, I am sorry, but there are only 2 of us. And we have a choice: development of warp boards or answering on the emails and stuff like that. So we right now choose to develop these boards, but we think about you, and not even one email is deleted from our inbox. We read every this email, and I please little patience, and we will make frequently asked questions on the website and system for the makes of pre-orders. Couple of minutes, okay?
Yeah. Well, I think you made the right choice between hardware and email.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Right, I've got a question which seems to be very, very important. When will the warp cards be available, and who is going to distribute them?
Yeah, when? I think it's really soon, because lately we prepared some hardware and all the process to fabricate these boards quite effectively, because first of prototypes time to produce was really terrible, Remember that there is not only electronics side, but also cooler, which is produced for every single piece on the CNC machine. This is quite time consuming. And also, even testing this card, because of this card has a lot of peripherals. This is really time consuming to test all these peripherals to make sure that card, that piece that we sending to the customer is really okay. You have graphics, you have audio, you have ARM MCU, and all the stuff. This is not too easy to quickly test this card that every piece of that is working properly.
Yeah.
But second part PCB is zamówione.
Ordered.
Yes, it's just an order. 130 sztuk.
130 pieces.
Yeah. Second batch is already ordered, and this is 130 pieces. So we are waiting for this batch. I think
product on 1 month.
Next batch will be completed in about 1 month.
This is really quick. This is absolutely very quick.
We have optimized production of these coolers, and this was, by the way, really quite hard piece to handle, because this cooler is really demanding. First cooler was produced in about 6 hours. This is really insane, because if you imagine that you have to make it in the count of some like 100. Multiply this by 6 hours is really hard. But okay, now we have vacuum mode for this, and as Szymon said,
we start 1 month.
We have ordered 130 PCBs, and for everyone who wants this card, buy the CPU. I don't know how, but you have to buy a CPU.
So who is going to distribute the card? Is it just only you, or do you intend to have or plan to have other distributors around Europe or around the world?
We thought about this, but this is a really, really tough product, because we have to get a CPU from the customer. One of the main reasons is there is no place to make a socket. Cooling system is such a design that every millimeter matters. So we can't rely on the external
distribution
because of that. We have to get a CPU from the customer, test it, solder on the board, and then we send the complete product to the customer. We also can't test this board without the CPU. Every board is actually made for for individual requests. So we have to get a CPU, we test this CPU, we solder on the board, we test all the board with the CPU, and then we are confident okay, all the hardware is working okay, and then we send to the customer.
Well, guys, there's one more question for you before the end, but I just want to say thanks so much for joining us. It was a real pleasure to meet you both.
Thank you so much too, and sorry for our English, but
No, it's good. Much better than our Polish. Well, not Luke's, but
for your Polish. Okay, no problem.
Yes, I thank you too.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
absolutely a pleasure.
I hope to see you, in the island.
Oh yeah,
I think we will meet there, I really think.
good. Yeah.
If only this whole situation with coronavirus would not interrupt these plans, it would be really nice.
Cross our fingers about that. Yeah.
Me too. Amiga was always creativity, and this was always amazing because, as I remember, when I had a Amiga, this was something, deluxe paint, real 3D, or something like that. This was really amazing how much we could do on this hardware. Okay, maybe this CPU was not too fast and everything like that, but this was amazing. And I think maybe because of that, so many people today remember Amiga positively, because first time when they created something was on the Amiga.
Excellent. Well, that was actually, you just answered my question. I was going to ask you, what's your, if you had to pick one kind of favorite memory from your life in it with Amiga. So would that be something like that, maybe?
My parents buy me Amiga, and not only my parents, because Amiga was expensive, and then to buy Amiga 1200, I spoke with my grandpa and with my, uncle, and some part of the price was paid by my parents, on some grandpa and grandma, and all family.
Wow!
I remember the first day when I get this A1200. I didn't have anything more besides Workbench, and I was so fascinated by the AGA graphics chipsets. And then I started from the preferences, the palette. So all the colors, I switched the Workbench to the 556 colors. I was amazed, I didn't have other software to utilize AGA graphics, Air or something like that. And then I found Deluxe Paint 5, which have support for the AGA. I was playing for hours, make some color gradients, and for me this was amazing how many colors this hardware could display on the monitor. I think this is one of the first I remember from the Amiga.
Simon, how about you? What is your favorite memory of Amiga from your life?
First time I meet Andrew, he used Directory Opus program, and I don't, what are you doing? Yeah. I shocked.
Because he was, in that time, he was using Amiga 500.
But on the Commodore 64,
he had a Commodore 64 before that, and he was playing in some hardware and controlling some lights and something like that. But when he bought Amiga,
didn't know how to implement it
on the Amiga.
First program on the controller or on the Amos.
Okay. We were mad, and we didn't know how to control some logical states on the parallel port on the Amiga. And first program I developed to control parallel port was on the Amos. language. There was no easy way to do that and make some really raw hardware to confirm receiving data on the parallel port. But after, I don't know, maybe 2 months, we have made LED
Table.
LED display controlled by the Amiga on the parallel port.
Nice. Very nice.
We also controlled audio devices such as Sony cassette deck,
Right.
also through the parallel port of the Amiga. We also developed in these days software with the magical user interface on the Amiga.
Andrew, in competition in school.
There was a competition in my school to do something electronic, because this was an electronic school, and
Lovely.
this lot of stories.
Good stories.
Yeah, in these times we do quite a lot on the Amiga. I remember even my teacher of the PC, teacher of the computer stuff.
IT teacher, yeah.
Of course, all computers in my school was the PC, IBM PC. In that time, I don't remember exactly 286 or 386 or something like that. I was struggling with my teacher because he said, "Yeah, Amiga is for games. This is a toy." There was a day I asked my colleague, and we took early in the morning Amiga monitor, display, and even audio device, and we by bus transported to the school. And I remember this teacher was struggling to, run 2 clocks on the desktop on the Windows 3.1. And I was running a couple of clocks, Tipo Player, and a couple of other programs. And I said, this is a multitasking. Not this Windows 3.1.
Nice. Very nice.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Who knows, we might even do it again sometime.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you in person,
Absolutely, and you too. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for
No, it's brilliant.
Sorry for my Polish, like you said. We'll have some good chats anyway, and a few drinks hopefully in January.
And I hope we will do.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.